The science of Francis Bacon and his followers was based on the premise that creation was created by a creator. This was Bacon's justification for the scientific method. The creation carries the stamp of the creator. The new scientific establishment didn't like that and opted for the only alternative. The creation created itself. We can appreciate the significance of this in the statement by Sir Arthur Keith. Evolution is unproven and unprovable. We believe it because the only alternative is special creation. Having opted for the creation having created itself, there's simply no alternative to evolution. It's one of the handful of ideas that the scientific establishment has no choice but to be absolutely committed to. Professor Leonard Harrison Matthews noted a consequence of this in his introduction to the 1971 edition of Darwin's Origin of Species. The fact of evolution is the backbone of biology, and biology is thus in the peculiar position of being a science founded on an unproved theory. Is it then a science or a faith? Belief in evolution is thus exactly parallel to belief in special creation. Both are concepts which believers know to be true, but neither, up to the present, has been capable of proof. That was in 1971, when there was still a lot of confidence in evolution. But evidence started to flood in from all sides that all was not well with the theory. So much evidence that non-biological scientists started to ask, is evolution scientifically possible? One of those scientists was Professor H.S. Lipson. In his 1980 article, A Physicist Looks at Evolution, he noted, in fact, evolution became, in a sense, a scientific religion. Almost all scientists have accepted it, and many are prepared to bend their observations to fit in with it. The body of his paper shows that from a scientific perspective, evolution is simply not possible. And he concludes, I think we need to go further than this and admit that the only acceptable explanation is creation. I know this is an anathema to physicists, as indeed it is to me, but we must not reject a theory that we do not like if the experimental evidence supports it. In the same year, 1980, Dr. John Durrant told a meeting of the British Association for the Advancement of Science, the secular myths of evolution have had a damaging effect on scientific research, leading to distortion, to needless controversy, and the gross misuse of science. The following year, 1981, Dr. Colin Pattison, senior paleontologist at the British Museum of Natural History, made some startling statements in a keynote address at an evolution seminar in America. Anyone interested in evolution should listen to the whole talk on the link above. He asked, can you tell me anything you know about evolution? Any one thing that is true? He pointed out that evolution is anti-knowledge and anti-science, and he backed that up by saying that he, like most of the people in the meeting, had written books on evolution, yet none of them knew anything about evolution that was true. He told of examining sequences of genetic code, which people like Dawkins say prove evolution. He said, evolution makes predictions about those sequences. We tested them, and they're falsified precisely. Although the establishment denies publication in its journals to this kind of information, it became obvious to a large body of scientists that evolution was an embarrassment. Professor Louis Bournois of the French National Centre of Scientific Research remarked, evolution is a fairy tale for grown-ups. The theory has helped nothing in the progress of science. It is useless. The shocking lack of transitional fossils offer no explanation for the exquisitely complex animals, all unique in their kinds. The fact that there are no transitional fossils is another thing which the establishment will not allow to be published in its journals. In 1986, Michael Denton's book Evolution: A Theory in Crisis pointed out that evolution is unsupported by evidence, but opposed by plenty of it. A torrent of denial of evolution came soon after. Fred Hoyle spent much time and effort analyzing DNA and protein sequences. After showing the impossibility of evolution producing either of them, he concluded that the notion that not only the biopolymers, but the operating program of a living cell could be arrived at by chance in a primordial soup here on the earth is evidently nonsense of a high order. Hoyle was not alone in concluding evolution is nonsense. In one of the Pascal lectures, Malcolm Muggeridge said, "I myself am convinced that the theory of evolution, especially the extent to which it's been applied, will be one of the great jokes in the history books of the future. Posterity will marvel that so very flimsy and dubious an hypothesis could be accepted with the incredible credulity that it has." Professor Chandra Wickramasinghe noted, "The impossibility of evolution is a fact of science which biologists seem blind to." Professor Giuseppe Sermonti wrote, "If I am interested in combating Darwinism, it is not that it's a false theory. There are many false theories throughout the world. It is because it is dishonest." What shocked me also is that the supporters of Darwinism do not believe it themselves. And Professor Soren Lovetrup wrote, "I believe that one day the Darwinian myth will be ranked the greatest deceit in the history of science." In the light of all this, how can we explain that not only is evolution still being presented as if it were true, but it's being claimed to be not just a theory, but a fact of science? Well, we'll look at that next time. Thank you for joining me for this episode. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, and press the bell so that you'll be notified as I release new movies. If you'd like to support this project, you're welcome to do so through Patreon. Find a link on my channel banner and in the description below.